What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Spinnerack time, Tyler. We're gonna be talking Namor. You picking Submariner, which is
Yeah,
something you've been wanting to do for a hot minute, but you were looking for the right comic to discuss.
yeah, because so many issues of Namor, like it's have a lot. It's hard to find one that's more self-contained, and this is not a self-contained issue, but it's a little bit more self-contained than a lot of others because there's so many references to previous books and stuff like that. And whereas this one just references what happened to the issue before, it's still tied up to where like you can pick this up and not feel like you're missing a whole hell of a lot. Um, and I really thought about doing Saga Submariner, but one book of Saga Submariner covers a fuck ton of issues in one issue. It makes references to several stories and several arcs. It's just like this would be like, you know, it'd be really hard to pick one that would like not feel like okay, this is covering a lot of the history,
Hmm.
and without having because it's like bits and pieces. Like there was some, I mean, there's some beautiful artwork in it and some fun issues. I'm like, can't think of one that's not going to be a lot to break down, and it's just making references to that issue, 2 issues later, 4 issues later. And it's like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
um,
that's understandable. But why is it that you wanted to talk about him specifically so much? Because isn't there's also is it a Spider-Man episode that you want to that involved Namor as well that you were
yeah,
definitely you were pushing a while back? This was I'm talking like last year at some point.
yeah. I wanted to. I just as I've gotten older, I liked the character a lot as a kid because he was heavily associated with the Fantastic Four, an
Hmm.
underwater character that's a lot of times perceived as a villain, and he's
Yeah,
not, but he is a villain at times. Hell, he's in supervillain team up,
yeah,
you know. So he's a very flawed character. So there's a lot of fun to be had with the character that he grows and learns from the mistakes that he made and has to live with, invading, the United States, even though he helped Cap and the original Human Torch fight World War II and win. He has attacked the United States on a few occasions. He's fought the Fantastic Four trying to steal Sue Storm
yep.
against her will multiple times. He's teamed up with Doctor Doom.
I mean,
Well, in
against
the
her
in
will,
well, she is definitely she thinks about it
yeah.
because from her perspective, look, this Adonis from the sea wants me to be his wife, and my current husband doesn't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, no,
Well,
Reed
there's
cared.
always that constant struggle though, where he takes science and work over marriage and life.
Right. But I
So, and
mean,
she is a woman
when
with needs.
you're that intelligent and you're being pulled in so many directions by so many other people, hey, help us with this, you can figure this out, do this. I can see why Reed would be super consumed by that, but I enjoy that dynamic too because you think around the time period that Fantastic Four came out, the whole idea of marriage and the way that it was perceived back then, you could squabbles and thoughts of divorce and stuff was no, you don't know, don't do that.
And possible
So
infidelity. Like,
yeah, and so it was refreshing to see that in comic book form. But yeah, she was definitely thinking about it.
yeah, because it's definitely something that she thinks about a lot. Anytime she comes in contact with them, like it never stops. Even though, and that's something too that if you read the Saga of Submariner, which I can elaborate a little bit more for our listeners, but it covers e- damn near everything. It touches on the golden era, the golden age of comics when he was introduced, and his team up with or running into the original Human Torch and Captain America, World War II, and then everything from getting his own book, all the events through there, meeting the Fantastic Four, being technically declared as a mutant, the world's first mutant, uh, and joined up with Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and X-Men. It covers that, his battle with the Thing, and all the women he's lost.
Yeah.
Namor has lost a lot of women, and they touch on that in the Saga of the Submariner too, and it's done so beautifully. Like the guy has done, he's fucked up a lot, he's lost a lot, and he just continues to just keep, trying to be a better man, and has to deal with all the mistakes he's made in his past. And
Yeah.
a very complex character, a lot of fun, and a shame that he is not brought more to the forefront of superheroes. Like even in the '90s, he was not a heavily merchandised or marketed character at all.
Right.
Um, he didn't get his own action figure until the Fantastic Four had their own toy line. When Toy Biz did the line based or kind of tied in with the cartoon, he
Hmm.
wasn't part of the superheroes line that Toy Biz did, which was kind of surprising thinking about it. But I like Deathlock had an action figure, but not Namor. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I like Deathlock; he's an awesome character, but it's like
Yeah.
Namor didn't get one.
Yeah.
But I just always had this affinity for the character. Even though he was an asshole, I found him to be a lot as a kid. But I thought he's a very, like when Joe Jusko did Marvel Masterpieces, he did one of the most impressive like visuals of Namor I've ever seen, and still to this day, I think it's one of the coolest.
Well,
Um,
he's sort of justified in that regard, just given how, I mean, his kind of how he looks down upon the human race.
yeah,
I totally get it because they are trashing the planet, and he is by far the overwatching the biggest part of
yeah.
it.
The
So
biggest portion of the Earth is consumed by the ocean, which is that is his kingdom. And
yeah,
he, not. I mean, Atlantis is the kingdom, but he surveys the entire planet. It's if there's something going on in the ocean, that's not supposed to be there, he will be made aware of it and will stop it. And
I like him
pollution
just on that
eventually.
aspect alone. Like he doesn't really like the human race. I'm right there
No,
with you, man.
but he does learn to realize, like his first love is Betty Dean, who he met during World War II, that there are generally good people. Obviously, Captain America. Like there are people he genuinely does respect, and like
I'm
he does. Hmm, go ahead.
I'm surprised you didn't pick one of those issues to go with him
Which
teaming up
one?
with Cap. Well, just him with Captain America
Oh
and
well, I
Human
mean,
Torch.
it's more that happens really during in the Invaders, which is a continuation of kind of like how the Golden Age was. Like that's,
Yeah,
I thought about that too, but I hadn't read a shit ton of them yet, to where I'm like, because I thought about digging through and trying to find one. Like, I just there was so much, and I'm just like,
right.
you know, I picked this one because I'd read it a couple times, and I figured like to kind of throw one at you, like it's a big, you know tag team 3-on-3. Uh, and when you break it down, you think this is the way back then. Like this kind of team up now is like this is heavily one side. Well, almost when you got the fucking Silver Surfer, the Hulk, and Submariner fighting Iron Man, who was a D-list character at the time. Hawkeye
Yeah,
is Goliath, and Thor.
yeah,
Thor is the heavy hitter of that, and not to take away anything from Iron Man, but come on, dude, like but it makes it challenging, interesting. Just the visual alone is like, okay, we got pretty much the what would go on to become the Defenders,
right.
fighting a portion of heavy hitters from the current Avengers at that time, and maybe the Vision would have been a suitable, but I think from a visual standpoint, putting Goliath in there
Yeah,
kind of helps intensify what kind of battle you're going to be seeing here. But I just thought, yeah, I think Nathan might get a kick out of this, of kind
yeah,
of what takes place in this.
yeah. It's a lot of fun, and we'll go ahead and we'll dig into this here. As you see, the cover is issue 35, all the way back in March. I didn't look up the release year on this. You can go back and check that out later. But here we go.
Yeah,
So
Roy
I mean,
Thomas, and go ahead.
35 issues in on a book with a character such as this, I would say is pretty good compared to what other like the length that other characters of his stature were getting around this time.
Yeah, and there was a lot of books that were just cut short, had very brief runs, and I forgot where his that initial run ended, and then he would just kind of show up, in books, and it's I kind of feel like too, like it's, and I don't know everything, but I feel like around this time frame, the Silver Surfer kind of waned. The Hulk was just kind of like when James was with us, they damn near canceled the Hulk book.
Hmm.
They put him in Tales to Astonish, which was shared with Goliath and I forgot who else, and then eventually became a Namor and Hulk book. It's like they were sharing their own book. It just kind of felt like, well, we need to put something in this. So it's like kind of almost like they just didn't know what to do with these characters at the time, even though Submariner did have a long, consistent run
Hmm.
before it was over. But I just think about how powerful these characters are portrayed and perceived today. And you're
Right.
like, God, these three in a tag team, like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like their whole purpose is like we're here to stop a possible travesty that could affect the planet,
Yeah.
and not just like not just the United States, but the ocean as well, and that they're all Hulk begrudgingly is on the same wavelength as these guys, but to think anyone on this planet were to see these three arrive, it's like, dude, if they decide to turn on you guys, man, that you guys are fucked.
Yeah. And I
You
love
know?
the fact here at the beginning that, and pretty much through the whole thing, Hulk just wants to fight.
Yeah,
Hulk's,
he is just and but I like that because he is the X factor in this story. Like he does team up. He is not really fighting for their cause. He's just all right. I'll calm the fuck down for the moment. But Silver Surfer and Namor are really in it to protect the planet, even though they share the same perspective on the human race.
yeah,
You know.
absolutely. And that's why they work well together. But who do we
Yes.
have working on this particular book?
We got our man Roy Thomas and John's brother Sal is taking over drawing duties on whereas John was working on this for a while. I don't know how many issues he did it straight. Like he covers through the emergence of Tiger Shark, which you have the first appearance of.
I do.
You do. I remember seeing that in your collection. Like, fuck, he's got the first appearance of Tiger Shark here, dude. I love the artwork in that. Like he draws Tiger Shark. I thought about that too. I'm like, but it's a two-part story, and I'm like, I just I'm
We
gonna go with
can
that
we
one.
can do two parters. We could get through that.
I don't know. Sometimes I
That
just
wouldn't be
feel
a
like he can
problem.
be a little too much to kind of frame it, where we can break down one issue and just encourage. All right, go check out the next part.
Go read the rest. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys. We were Tyler didn't want to do the other issue.
but but yeah, Sal and Roy working on this, and some of the other like the inker and letter I'm not familiar with, and not Stanley. I don't know who the hell that is.
Yeah, I never heard of the guy.
Yeah, it just must be someone they just kind of filled in. Like he must be like an intern or something like that on this book.
Titans
But
3.
yeah, God, that could be the name. I mean, I like that name better than the Defenders. Like the Defenders is like it's an okay name, but Titans 3
I mean, think about it. We have the cosmos, the land, and the sea all
all
working together.
together, man.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if they had teamed these, if like with Smart Hulk, and you
Hmm.
put these two together, like
Yeah.
you know, it's a very interesting dynamic to see, and I just love this visual that they're
Yeah.
they're hovering above the Earth. How Hulk and Namor are surviving like that.
Don't worry about
It's
that.
yeah, it's comics.
Yeah.
But it makes for a great visual with all the cosmos around as they're getting ready to dive down
I mean,
towards their
speaking of great
location.
visuals, like
Uh, well, Hulk's got to hold
I
on somehow.
yeah, well, no, I love that.
Oh yeah,
I'm not making fun of it. I'm saying it's fucking great.
yeah, and just
Just
seeing
just
like
imagine
the
just imagine you're just looking up and you see this silhouette coming down. You're like, what the fuck?
yeah. But what their goal is that I guess we should let people know too is that in the previous issue, Namor is becoming aware that there is a nuclear weather station being built in the Caribbean that has not been tested and that could pose a possible threat not only to the world, but I mean, well, land, but to the ocean as well. And one of his scientists tells him, like, we probably should check this out. At least let us look at it so it doesn't affect our world.
Right.
So Namor, is aware that he needs help. It's like look, people they already distrust me as it is. So I need to have a little bit more of a strong stance. So when I present myself, like, look, I know you all don't trust me, but look, I've got people here that's like, look, we're doing this for a reason. So he wants to befriend the Hulk, which he's had issues with before, and he comes across the Silver Surfer. Never met him before, and decides he wants to put together this trio. And they track down the Hulk on this island that's being overrun by a Mexican cartel, and they take them out. And then once they've ended that and helped the rebels win their battle against the cartel or the Mexican army, military, whatever it might be, um, they set their sights on heading to the Caribbean, where the station's being built, and that's where we are right now.
Hulk is tired of sitting, tired of talking, so Hulk's gonna act, and Namor is calling him a fool. Surfer's saying there's no reasoning with him, but perhaps one of his cosmic
Cosmic
bolts.
bolts might strike some sense into him. And immediately, like, yeah, it's just I love that Namor is like, in the early days, that would have been Namor's like
Yeah.
first, like his first thought was, oh, I'm gonna go beat the shit out of these guys. I mean, fuck these
Yeah.
guys, And I love that he's just like, no, no, I love that, but he's automatically mistrusted here when the Hulk is getting ready to attack, and he stops the Hulk by just
Yeah.
obliterating the boulder, which is going to show you, if you're not too familiar, just how fucking strong Namor is. Like to fly through it like fucking Superman and just destroys it
Yeah.
and doesn't stop. It doesn't slow him down. Like it's just all right, boom.
And I love the way that that is drawn
Oh yeah,
too.
it just shows the intensity of how fast he was trying to get there to stop the Hulk. I love that. And then they're already like,
Yeah.
it's just it just adds a lot of tension. Like, how is this going to work? Like they're already fighting already, and Silver Surfer has to come in and help break it up. But a great
Hulk
visual
saying, yeah,
here.
yeah, nobody calls Hulk names and
Yeah.
lives. Nobody.
And just trying to remind them, we're not here to do this. We're here to protect the Earth. You know, so Hulk calms the fuck down, and already they're already, excuse me, they're already on alert after what just happened. And the general here is not, or the colonel, excuse me, is not pleased to see Namor. Is already like, look, I'm already aware of who you are, what you've
Uh,
done, and I don't trust you at all.
but
And
I love how, hey, Colonel Willis, you better watch it. And it's like, sir, I got my Purple Heart, Heartbreak Ridge, and he's got a Silver Star. Yeah, he knows what he knows what he's doing. I
he's
love
seen a
the
lot of shit, so you
yeah, I
got to
love
commend
the
this guy.
overconfidence that he
Yeah,
feels like he's seen so much. These superhero guys, no problem.
and but I'm like, you know what? I could totally believe that anyone who
Oh, I
who
could,
had
yeah,
fought in those
absolutely.
wars and survived, like, yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff too, and I'm like, I don't give a shit what you're about. We're here doing a job, and I'm not going to be deprived of doing my job. And just this, it's a very Kirby-esque visual here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the
yeah, you,
crackling around the nuclear weather station here, like
yep.
that is so Kirby-esque that John was doing. Now to see his brother Sal doing that, and just seeing the Titans 3 standing there, bickering with the Colonel, like, you can't launch this thing until we've had a chance to. Yeah, just see the Surfer's just like,
Mean mugging
it's like
him.
he's just staring down at the Colonel. In his mind, it's just like, This guy's an idiot."
Yeah, but also too, the colonel saying I didn't like being dragged out of Nam to play nursemaid to soldiers in half a dozen countries and a gizmo I can't even understand. But I'll do my job even if I have to order you three put in irons. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, but
Which,
yeah,
you
yeah, Surfer's like, all right, we're gonna put an end to this shit right now.
yeah, go ahead and melt the guns.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of there. And of course, who would blame when you can't even defend yourselves? So yeah, it's there's pretty much there's no other outcome and get the
Yeah,
hell out of there.
yeah, time, yeah, time to fall back.
So they fall back and they call back to the States and let them know we got an issue here.
I don't know why, but reading the panel here, let's get moving. There's an emergency Radio Shack, and I knew what
Yeah.
they meant, but just reading it, I'm like, my
I'm like,
mind goes to the
me
brick and
too. You
mortar.
can't, but man, they got to go to the mall.
Yeah, that's where they're going right now.
But yeah, they call back to the States here, and let them know, man. We got a fucking issue here.
Yeah, they call the UN. To do so might mean war, not just with those three, but with Atlantis as well.
So it's good to know that the United Nations are not portrayed as idiots. Like they realize, okay, look, we have got the Prince of Atlantis like involved here. Okay, this they have fought with Atlantis before, not something that they're eager or prepared to do again. So let's
Yep.
try and be diplomatic about this,
Yep.
and let's get in the only heavy hitters we know we can depend on right now.
Yeah. He goes to say, thus, an armed counteroffensive is out of the question. Besides, we have made other arrangements as he's reaching
Yeah,
toward this phone with a giant A on it. What could it
yeah, gotta
mean?
love that.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Avengers are having a meeting because they have some events going on, and Cap is the chairman of this of the meetings and is pretty much given the duty of splitting up the team. Some of you are going to wait here at the base in case there's an emergency, and they're going to be have a PR uh, meeting. I think, yeah, a TV spot. Yeah, yeah,
and who all
charity
do we
TV
spot?
spot.
Who all we got sitting here at the
We
table,
got
Tom?
Black Panther, Cap, Vision, Thor, Iron Man, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Clinton Barton, aka Hawkeye, aka Goliath, at the moment.
Uh, can you explain a little more about Hawkeye being Goliath and how that came to pass?
Dude, I have no fucking clue, man. Like
Okay.
I no idea. He's changed outfits. I don't know because I feel like the placement and like the Ant Man slash Giant Man has been a character I've never been that interested in,
Hmm.
and so I am the last person on the planet qualified to even talk about how when Hank he's either out like he becomes Yellow Jacket at 1.2. I'm like I really just don't know.
Well, I mean, even here, I love this little note. A word to the wise: don't waste time trying to correlate this tale with the current Avengers issue. No way.
Yeah,
Stan Lee interjects. So
but
now Cap is he's made his decision on who's going to go and take this on.
I don't like how Cap's wings on his ear or his head are done right there. Those look
Yeah,
a little off to me. I don't.
yeah, it looks way better
Yeah,
here,
right
and
there is
then
fine, but up close, it's
yeah,
like Sal didn't capture that very. It doesn't look like a like Thor's helmet. Like he captured that wonderfully. It should look a little bit more closer to in that same. Not exactly, but
and I
but
love how Iron Man and Thor just kind of like just sitting back.
yeah,
Just,
they're
all
very
right,
reluctant to like we got fucking guard duty or supposed emergency duty like you know um it just Thor looks really badass right there. Like just
he
he's like
does.
this is not meant for the god of thunder. Like nah, guard duty,
Yeah, it's
fuck this.
that's too boring for
Yeah. Lo and behold, though, the red phone, there's a ring.
him. Yeah,
It's like, well, looks like it's our lucky day because the UN calls them and tells them what's going on. So, and as they're traveling to the Caribbean, where this is at, they're kind of giving everyone a little update or kind of like of their history
hmm,
that they have that Thor's been the only one to do battle with the Surfer. Namor and Hulk, they've had their run-ins, or the Hulk was a original member of the Avengers at one point as well.
yeah.
So there's a history here with these guys.
And of course, seeing this shot harkens back to that
Yeah,
issue
to
of
that
Silver Surfer
famous
that I was
issue
thinking of.
4 of
Yeah.
Silver Surfer, which is an
Did you
issue.
get the Surfer statue to go with your Thor statue
It
yet?
was
You
sold
haven't, right?
out. It
Uh,
sold out. Even the
that's a
pre-order
bummer.
sold out. So I didn't get a chance to fucking pre-order the damn thing.
I'm assuming the price has skyrocketed since then.
I haven't looked because I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I just it wasn't gonna bother looking on eBay, so some dipshit can charge, $400 for it.
Yeah.
So I just got Thor, getting ready to throw his hammer up into the air at nothing.
Yeah, you'll get the Surfer eventually, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
eventually. But and this is my favorite kind of look of Iron Man. Like I've never been a fan of like, just the traditional gold and red, some slight modifications to like how he was
Hmm.
drawn in the 90s, and also the 70s. Like I like that. Like I'm not a fan of, you know, Like there's the helmet has like the kind of points, like the angles, like on the face mask. I think Marvel Legends put that out with like the 20th anniversary, which I don't mind that one. That's kind of a
Yeah.
cool look too. But that's the kind of look of Iron Man where you it's just the eyes are blacked out, and the mouth is blacked out.
Yeah.
I've always loved that look of Iron
I
Man.
mean, it's like the what was it, the Secret Wars Iron Man figure that
Yeah,
we got as a kid. That's
yeah,
kind of I'm with you on that.
yeah.
I like Sheesh. Could be I'm out of my depth. I love the doubt there.
Yeah, even though he's been given the powers of Goliath of being a human giant, like he's like, okay, I'm a skilled archer who's become a giant now. Don't know if I'm really well equipped to take on the Prince of Atlantis, the Incredible Hulk, and this fucking Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
And with good reason, and just is this visual of them out by the shores. Like
Hmm.
his Namor's awaiting, his men from Atlantis to arrive, and just hearing just picturing like Surfer just sitting on the rocks, the water's crashing out there, and they're just keeping an eye out, waiting for the arrival. And yeah, I just like to visualize how that must sound and look in live action.
And here we don't get a full shot of that, but I do love the look of
Yeah,
the ship
yeah. Atlantis
emerging
has a
from
lot
the.
of cool technology from their ships to the palace, their all their environment alone is pretty interesting. And they always wear these water filled helmets, which and they have other ways too, like his fiance Dorma. Like a lot of times they'll take these pills that allow them to change their skin to look more human like, but they will succumb to the elements if they don't, if they're not around water. Whereas Namor, he can be out of water for long periods of time, but once he's taken a quick dive in some fresh water, like he's ready to go toe to toe with anybody.
Yeah, and they're getting ready to get married here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and then
well,
Hulk
I
is
was
bored.
yeah, I was gonna say I was start to throw out another spoiler because yeah, well, for anyone who hasn't read, I'm not going to spoil it,
Well,
but
because I haven't read further past this issue, but the wedding happens the following issue, right? Or supposed to.
it's how far along, but then uh, because I'm trying to think, the Lyra is this very scorned bitch that has a thing for Namor, and he didn't want to take her as his queen, so
Oh,
she will continue to be a thorn in his side for years. She even shows up in a two-issue story of with Spider-Man, and she frees most of the Frightful Four
oh, okay.
and teams up with them and becomes the fourth member of their team.
Oh,
And his story
interesting.
is to take on Namor and Spider-Man, which is it's a pretty fun story arc. It's a
Oh, yeah,
nice
all right,
two-parter.
all right. I'll have to check that
Yeah,
one out for sure.
but yeah, I love the way she's drawn though. She reminds me a lot of Spydra, from the Return of Orca's uncle.
Okay,
Like the way she's drawn in or the way that she's drawn in these books, but also in the Saga of the Submariner. I think it's Rick Buchler. I think the way he draws
Bueller.
her,
Bueller.
Buchler. I can't remember what he's an amazing artist. But anyway, we're getting way too sidetracked here. But yeah, Dorma and them have arrived. They're prepared to look at the machine and try to figure out whether or not it's going to be a harm to anybody right now.
And I love how Surfer, through observation, picks up Namor Masks' love for the girl behind an imperious tone. But I sense depth to his feelings beyond men's kin.
I love that about the Surfer. Like he's a big observer. Like not so much like the Watcher, but he can. That's why I think it'd be a lot of fun to have more interactions with Surfer and Namor. Just the two of them processing lost loves, or mistakes they've made along the way, and just learning to adapt, and just like the mistakes people just seem to make, and just
Mhm.
I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had if you just put those two together in a room and just give them like an hour to talk.
Just a big therapy session between the
Well,
two.
I just like they're sitting there, like maybe sharing like a glass of wine together,
Yeah.
something they brew in Atlantis, and Surfer comes down there, and they're just having a heart to heart of like, Namor's lost a lot of people. Silver Surfer can't get back to his lot. I'm stuck on this fucking planet. of people that want to kill each other and don't respect a damn thing, and
Right.
just see them processing how they pretty much have the same mindset about this planet that they live on.
Yeah, I mean that would be fun. And then
Yeah,
along the way, they take on evil and try to make the
yeah.
world a better
And
place.
then I
But
can see Doctor Doom showing up. Two guys I have tried to align myself on the multiple occasions are having a heart to heart. It was time for me to kind of renew my alliance with the Surfer and Namor. And of course, Namor's like, "Nah, you fucked me over too many times, man." And I love that.
yeah, that'd be a good idea. But guess what? The Avengers have been spotted.
Yep. And Namor's like, "We got to hurry up because you guys get over there, to the weather station, and we're gonna see to our guests." And
And Hulk, oh, we got to fight. Surfer's like, no, last
yeah.
resort.
I wish I had like
But
a
that,
much better voice to picture the Surfer talking. It's the only thing I have pretty much is Lawrence Fishburne playing the voice of the Surfer and Rise of the Silver Surfer. I never watched
yeah.
much of the Silver Surfer cartoon back in the '90s, so I couldn't tell you what his voice sounded like, and
Hmm.
or what the Hanna-Barbera version of Silver Surfer sounded like.
But they're here now, soaking it all in, taking a look around. And I love
Surveying
this
it.
too. We're going back. It's just rocky
Yeah,
ocean
you
front.
you want it to be like this terrain where it's like, you know what, when they're gonna fight, it needs to be in a place that, you know what, these guys can really just cut loose.
Yep. And there's
And
got to
yeah,
be a high ground, which they're currently.
yeah, when you like the Titans 3 are monitoring the high ground right now. Yeah, they even though the other two can fly as well, or two of the Avengers can fly,
Yeah,
still it's definitely not the best starting angle
not the best line of
for the
dialogue here.
Avengers at least.
Give him a taste of your joystick, Thor.
So
Like,
yeah.
come on, come on.
Like yeah, it's not his finest line, but definitely like dude, he's weaponless right now. He all Hank has got, or Clint has got, is just brute strength at this point.
Yeah.
And of course, you didn't have to take a wild guess and figure out as to how this fight's going to just take off.
Yeah. No, Hulk is all through listening. Hulk, come on, time to fight, time to smash.
Yeah, is not enough time has been, and because the whole point of that was like hear us out. We're not here to fight. We're trying to make a point. And then of course the Hulk's just like he's that. Yeah.
And I love how he immediately goes for Thor too.
Yes, because they have fought before. So
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, he's definitely likely to go towards the one. And I love that pose. I love Thor's like action pose there, like that salad drill. Like that's, it makes me think of that one issue you and I read a while back, that Jim Shooter wrote, where it's nothing but a giant fight between Hulk and Thor, and
yeah,
then Hulk just gets up. Is like, yeah, you know what? I'm kind of done fucking around here. I'll see you later. And all
yeah,
this destruction is called. That's what the cover of that reminds me of.
yeah,
Mm. And so everyone kind of team the tags, or kind of gets their. It makes me think in wrestling, who's going to size each other up, and Surfer and Iron Man are going to go ahead, and Goliath and Namor are going to battle it out, and just picture. It just makes me want to see more panels of these battles here.
yeah.
You know, because
Iron Man versus Surfer is definitely an interesting matchup. Though I think Surfer's got it all day, every day.
yeah. Like I know Iron Man suit, evolves a lot from having roller skates on his boots. Which I just think that's just the most one of the silliest things that was ever part of his suit. But he obviously Tony will evolve his suit over the years, become a lot more powerful. But I still am like, I don't think it would be held up too well against the Surfer like that. Now this panel here, where Thor's just had enough, and I could just hear the wham
Yeah,
that when he smacks the shit out of
yeah.
Hulk.
You can hear that reverb
Yeah,
sound
and
effect.
just seeing that distance of how small Thor looks right there, and how
Yeah,
Hulk is really, it's just, oh, you never get tired of watching these two duke it out, man. It's a treat.
yeah. Hulk saying Thor's too scared to even fight back. Not so, monster, my mind, but sought a better way, a less violent way. Yet, if there be none, then
Then
so be it.
so bad. Yeah,
Smacks the
fucking
shit out of him.
rocks.
Yeah. Words. Hulk is sick of words, and
Yeah.
I love that too. Just stop talking. You got to keep
Yeah, let's do
fighting.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a mighty punch right there. Like just it's all fist
Yep.
and just Mjolnir just falls out of his hands like right at the feet of Hulk, which Hulk is not going to remember. He has attempted to do this before.
Yep. And here
Yep,
we
it's
go. Hulk.
not going to work.
Yeah. Just a little thing, but Hulk can't lift it, can't budge it.
But if Thor is not within reach of it pretty soon, he's going to revert back to Donald Blake. So he's like, I'm fucked if I don't get this.
So has that always been the like 60 seconds? Has
I
that
don't know if it's
been?
been that short or if it maybe that's. I feel like so many small things like that. Um, if it's I couldn't tell you for sure. I know when it's been out of his hand because there's a two-part story where he takes on Doctor Doom and Doctor Doom is determined to get Mjolnir and and it's out of his possession for a bit. But I don't think it's that short. But then again, I had to go back and reread it again.
Yeah,
So
because 60
yeah,
seconds, not very long at all.
yeah, and a lot of these things have been changed and tweaked over the years too. So I'm not.
Yeah, I feel like you would kind of have to at a certain point
Yeah,
because you sort of box yourself in a little bit,
yeah,
especially with
you can't have too many weaknesses like that where it needs to
yeah,
be a little bit more of a lengthier time there. Like to think that 60 seconds, like dude, like you guys knock the fuck out of the Hulk right now and get it back,
yeah,
or just hold your hand out.
yeah.
It'll come right back to you. So, but
You
then we
want
take to the skies here and see Iron Man cling to the board there, and Surfer not having it, of course, and which is kind of what you expect to happen there.
yeah,
Um, and they kind of dishing it back and forth here, and we get a nice kind of in the sky clash. It's almost like it's very easy to visualize this in something live action or even animation where it kind of makes you think of in Marvel versus DC when Green Lantern fought Silver Surfer, and it was they weren't interested in fighting, but they realized they had to, so they just charged each other in outer
and
space, and it was just big boom.
and that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love this bit of dialogue too, and yet are we three any better? Have we not used the threat of naked force just as an Iron Man
yeah. It's
shoots
like
him?
they all had the same mindset, but they're just the communication's just not there. It's just
Yeah,
they're all so quick to think, I don't know Silver Surfer. I don't know anything about him. Like he's teaming up with someone who's we feel is being an aggressor here. So
yeah.
it doesn't. I mean, yeah, it's an excuse for them to fight, but it's not implausible to think that in the world of superheroes.
And
And here we go, man.
I like how he calls him while you're playing Socrates,
Yeah,
spaceman.
yeah. Pretty much just saying, fuck you and your logic.
Yeah,
And I love this dynamic shot. Like, is it setting up? They're kind of going opposite direction, and then they're getting lined up, and Server's got his hands out. Like, yeah, man, this just
and
needs some epic trailer music.
the way that it's described here, then there's silence unbroken, save for the pained whistling of air thrust aside by irresistible objects in motion.
Yeah, just seeing how quickly they're flying around, and then there it is, that massive clash in the sky.
Yeah. Sonic boom. The
Yeah,
juggernauts come together.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
massive.
yeah, and the two forms, stunned into unconsciousness by the sheer immeasurable impact of collision, plummet from the heavens like wounded eagles.
This like that shot of him knocking the fuck out of Goliath, like a lot of great punches
Yeah,
in this issue. Very dynamic punches, a lot of force behind, and just seeing just how big Goliath is at that moment. And I just Namor's not slowing down a bit here. Like, and I pretty much just takes out Goliath with ease.
yeah, and it's punching him down into the water now.
Yeah, like I mean, he's in his element now. He gets stronger the more he's in the water. Like the Hulk has fought Namor in the water, and Namor has the advantage in the water. So now Goliath is fucked here at this point. And I love this shot of him, hurling him out of the water like that. Like
Yeah.
he's beaten, and I love that. Like we're not enemies, but I love that he's gonna drown. I got to do something here, and gets him out of the water very quickly. I just think it's such a cool shot as the armed forces returns back to the island as Atlantis is steadily working on the machine, and they start to fucking open fire, while they're at the machine.
Yeah. Which the
And
whole point of that is like, oh, any little abrasion to this device could cause
just
this
and
and even they know that, and
yeah,
yet they're going to shoot at it anyway.
yeah, that's just, they're desperate to retaliate. And thankfully, Dorma, who's a very wise, beautiful, blue-skinned woman, stops everyone, like, is willing to risk, bullet fire. I mean, she could die. Like, she's not,
Oh, right.
she's not impervious to it. Like, if they, hell, if she shoot her helmet,
Yep.
and she didn't get back to the water, she's pretty
I
much
mean,
dead.
luckily the water is very close by,
Yeah,
so
she wouldn't have to run too far to it, but still, like, and they're quick to listen to reason in that moment. Um, and let them know that we're getting ready to do the test here. So everyone back calms down. We got to stop all this fighting that's going on right now.
blow the horn.
Yeah, and that allows everyone to, like, all right, cut the shit. We're going to conduct the test here. It's very easy to picture, like, Thor and Hulk probably could have kept battling for hours after that, and they will soon see here that yes, it was not safe.
Yeah. Shocker.
Yeah. And then we're confirms, like, that's all we were trying to do. We were not trying to harm the human race. We're not trying to stop you guys from doing your job. It's like we just want to make sure that this device was not going to harm the planet. And I like that. It's still going to take a long. Of course, Hulk's like, this is bullshit, and yeah, just and it's like, and he just knocks on the server and God, I can't talk here. Server and Namor out and for trying to restrain him, and he just, like, takes off. And like, I'm out of here. And Surfer Two is like, you know what? I've had enough of this. We did our job. I'm sick of all this fighting. I'm getting the hell
Yeah.
out of here and go. I'm gonna go mourn over my Charlotte Ball.
I here's yeah, Surfer saying, "For I cannot endure another moment among a race of madmen who rail at each other in the name of progress."
Yeah, which is it's perfect logic.
Yeah, I really relate to him.
Yeah.
I've doped things out to the UN brass, and they've agreed to rethink this whole thing. I can ask no more. So there you go.
Yeah, it's a small stepping stone, for to kind of. Well, it's still not going to be like I said. I can't help but think about when Namor is asked to join the Avengers officially, and how the public is not. It's
Hmm.
divided about it because they realize he does do a lot of good, but he's invaded the planet several times. He's like, hey, I did help win World War II, but how quickly the public tends to forget. It's just one of the. I just love the complexity of the character, that he's fucked up so much that it's going to take a long time for the human race. Even though Cap trusts him, you think that'd be enough. If Captain America, you know, the most trustworthy soldier on the planet, is telling you that this guy is on our side, he's good to go. That should say something. But you know what? It's very very realistic. The people. I think if Namor was existing in this world today, he would be a very divisive character in our
Oh,
society.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it's yes. There would be a lot of superhero characters that would be polarizing now, especially now,
Oh
for
yeah.
either what they represent. And I mean, they've kind of touched on that in modern comics a little bit. You think about the Civil War arc
Oh
and,
yeah.
and everything. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how in history we keep repeating stuff and cycling back around to things. And but
Yeah,
yeah,
we still got
this week.
bigotry, fucking racism, and people are just not thinking clearly, more about being, narrow-minded, thinking
Yep.
about, oh, well, it used to be like this way, so it's got to be that way still. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
So all being progressive, and I mean, I think the X-Men would be very popular today. The way we're trying to be more, all
Uh,
inclusive, and
yeah, they would, but at the same time, I think given how things are now, would also be it would that would also
there
have
would
its
be a lot
own.
of hate toward, because
Uh,
God knows, unfortunately, people just seem to hate on people. I mean, hell, go to the fucking internet anywhere you want. Any social
mhm.
media platform, people just love to hate because it's
Don't read the comments, kids.
yeah. Yeah.
That like I admittedly like Facebook I don't really mess with as much anymore. I completely got rid of Twitter. I went to like Blue Sky Social and started following people on there that I followed on Twitter, and that's been way better. And Instagram is just pictures, so that doesn't really bother me as much. So I've peeled back, and sometimes you just take a break from it. It'll change your
I
life.
couldn't feel better about, other than, occasionally missing a few things. Um,
But that's why I started sending you stuff.
yeah, I'm like, you know what? I don't worry too much about it. Like, you
Yeah,
send me anything about figures and or movie stuff on occasion. Sometimes I can come across it on my own, but I couldn't be happier just being checked out of people seeking attention and wanting praise and being, playing show and tell all the time, and just venting their political views, their religious views, or just bitching about stuff or wanting people to praise them because they had a shitty day,
right.
you know. But
Yeah,
yes, the wedding is the next issue. Just trying to think when Lyra shows up, or well, she shows up, but it doesn't have a direct impact on that. It's a little ways down the line, a little bit.
yeah. That was a fun issue. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. There's
Anytime you get smaller groups of heroes fighting each other for whatever reason, I'm always there for.
Yeah, have you come across I think it's called the Champions, which is the biggest mishmash of superheroes thrown together,
Mm-mm.
and and you can read them on Marvel Universe, or Marvel Unlimited, excuse me. It's Hercules, Angel, Iceman, Ghost Rider, Black Widow. I think who else is in the group. It's just this random mishmash of people, and I'm like, when I came across them, like, God, this is like such a. I love team ups of like random heroes together, but this was just like such a because this was when Iceman and Angel were no longer part
Oh,
of the X
okay.
Men anymore.
Yeah, I from 75 to 78 ran 17 issues.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't a very long run series because it's such an odd group, especially when, like, Ghost Rider just kind of feel like he kind of
Yeah,
got lost, and it was just kind of thrown in there. It's like so many characters that just didn't know what to do with.
I like the cover of that first issue though.
I can't remember what it looks like.
I'll try to get an image to pop up on the screen for everyone at home. So that was Submariner number 35. Tyler, I think the last time we did Spinner Rack, I let's put it to the forefront. We're going to keep it spoiler free.
You mean like for stuff in the future, or like
No,
what do you mean?
I'm saying we're gonna talk about the show. Do you want to keep it spoiler free?
Oh, all that. I I guess we can because I feel like it's still relatively new. So,
With the
but
lat,
unless you want to put it on the screen to say fuck it,
I do have the banner set up to put if you want to do a spoiler discussion, we can put it at the bottom of the screen when we start it. And do you want to do spoilers?
we can, or we don't. It's not a must. I honestly, if you would rather not worry about that, I'm cool with that. Or we can, yeah, just dive right in and say, hey, look, it's, you know, a little ways in at the end, started watching this point. Well, there's spoilers all over the internet.
Uh let me get the champions issue one cover to show off here for everyone at home. There we go. eBay listings is the way to go. Here we go. I like it. I really like this cover.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
It's just such an odd
It's an odd
collection of
team.
characters, very
Yeah.
odd, and that's what made it intriguing. Even though when I read, I think I read the first issue and it wasn't very good. I hate Angel's costume, like I hate it. Everyone
Yeah.
else looks fine though, but
Yeah.
it just I kind of I there's an affinity for groups that are just kind of thrown together like that. Like it's just this random collection of characters. Like, how would that work? How, just there's a lot of fun to be had when you have such a vast array of heroes that you could put together in a team for a brief run, and make things difficult for them, or would they really work well together? Like putting Ghost Rider in I often feel like Ghost Rider is a solo, even though he's teamed up with Spider-Man, Wolverine, the Punisher, Daredevil, Moon Knight.
Yeah.
I feel like when he was brought back to the forefront in the '90s, like he was teaming up fucking everybody. But Johnny Blaze, he teamed up with a lot of people too. But it just seems like I don't know. If to picture like a team is having a meeting and you got Ghost Rider just standing there like, because Johnny Blaze's Ghost Rider is a lot different than Dan Catch's Ghost Rider. Like
Yeah.
they're vastly different.
Yep.
At least at the times. So you just kind of help it feel like Ghost Rider's kind of more of a solo. Maybe he'll team up with one person kind of thing. But he just doesn't come off as like, even though like the new Fantastic Four, with Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine, that was fucking epic.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Well, it's still my favorite tag team of all time.
Yeah.
Is the four of those guys together, man. They will never get any better than that. It just
Yeah.
won't.
Uh,
You remember that game Marvel Alliance I played with you a while back, where you
oh,
could select like any four,
yeah,
like
Marvel Ultimate
superheroes?
Alliance. Yeah.
Ultimately, yeah, that's what it was. God, that game was so fucking cool.
Yeah, they've made 3 of them. The third one came out on Nintendo Switch a couple years back, and I played through it, and it's not as good as the other 2 because the second one is more like the Civil War story arc. That first one's a lot of fun. I I've had the itch to play them again, but the only way you can do that is on the older 360 PS3. I want to say that maybe on PS4 they did Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 as a bundle. So I'm sure eventually they'll come around and maybe re-release them or remaster them or whatever. But yeah, those games kick ass.
Oh, that was so much fun. Like just like, oh, I want Ghost Rider, and Moon Knight, and Spider-Man and Wolverine right now. Like
Yeah.
just picking like random characters just to tag team together. Like that was just so much fun to just you know having that privilege of assembling your own team of Marvel superheroes. Like it's just
Yeah.
that you know
And
I
you get perks and bonuses if you make particular team ups.
oh, that's really cool. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
letting
so
them unique.
I'm pretty sure there was a bonus if you put the new Fantastic Four together.
Yeah,
They had all kinds of different combinations that you could do and use. Yeah, I was
let me use
actually
the
thinking
bathroom
of,
real quick.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, maybe I should just reinstall Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch and like because I didn't finish playing through it, so I should just jump back in, restart, and just. But the biggest thing with that is the play styles and like what do you want out of characters. So Iron Man was always great because he was like a projectile character, and
Yeah,
I always prefer to play characters that in those type of games that are more projectile based instead of just you're standing in front of the enemy and you're just like like holding a button down and they're doing the punching animation, then you move forward. But yeah, go ahead and use the
I'll be right
bathroom.
back. We'll dive into our other big discussion.
Yeah. And while we do that, I will take a couple of the questions here. JSP, speaking of Stan, you guys hear about that documentary about Stan Lee on Kickstarter. I have not, but I started reading more and more about what Stan was going through in those later years, and it sounds terrible. And I'm glad that I guess towards the end of his life, he was able to be free from that. From my understanding, I could be wrong, but yeah, sad to see that they were just doing that so much with him in his later years. And then Fedbon, I've only seen parts of this. Have you seen the Cold Slither music video from Hasbro? I saw a little bit of it when they did their stream to show off the new classifieds that were coming out, which it's nice to see that version of Snake Eyes. That we're going to get a figure of that down the road, and a lot of good stuff announced there. Let's see. Fedmon also saying we're supposed to get a Ghost Rider cartoon in the mid 90s, but it got pulled because of parent groups. Not surprising. We pretty much just got that bit of Ghost Rider in the Fantastic Four where he takes out Galactus. And JSP saying got Roy Thomas signed my G.I. Joe Locker DVD box set. I think you sent me a picture of that. I think either that or maybe it's the Transformers stuff that we got there. And this is just a comment from earlier, but it's works since Tyler's taken so long. Maybe he's taking a dump instead. Oh man, I was trying to think too if there was anything. I did buy, and this kind of ties into the conversation we're gonna have when Tyler gets back. I did go to Ollie's and get the Kingpin from the Daredevil, well, it was Hawkeye show at the time. Ah, hey, you're back finally. Thought you were taking a dump.
No, so I threw my clothes in the dryer too. I gotta have gym clothes for tomorrow. So
yeah. Well, we will go ahead. We will make this a spoiler discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the little ticker tape at the bottom for our audio listeners down the road. I guess I'll have to put in the description of a timestamp. So we're currently at about the 57, 58 minute mark. So yeah, I'll put in the description for our audio listeners. But boom, here we go. Daredevil born again. So last time we were here on Spinner Rack, I was telling Tyler. Tyler was like, I've been seeing all these YouTube video titles saying that it sucks, and I'm like, I think they're pretty wrong, but whatever. And then you checked it out. The first, what was it at the time? Two episodes?
Yeah, it's 3, yeah.
And you were.
I liked it. Like I was entertained. Like I wasn't like, oh my god, I got to watch that again. It has not been the same level as Netflix, but it's still been good. Considering there has not been anything. I think the last show I watched was either the first episode of Moon Knight or the first one of Winter Soldier and Falcon. Both very forgettable episodes. I was like, I don't give a fuck about this, and I was like, that was it. So I have not watched anything else. Didn't care to. Didn't want to. But I was surprisingly entertained with the first, well, now 4 episodes. Even though there was like a brief moment last time, like I don't like where this is going for this moment here, but it was very short lived. But I did find like the first episode a little bit kind of jolting, where it starts off and then boom. Because I found the fighting style to be not as gritty as the Netflix series was, where I felt like the Netflix fighting just seemed more I just say vicious almost.
Yeah.
Even though like Disney's trying to be more aggressive.
That's what I was saying. Like it has the feel of Netflix, but it's just off. Just a little.
It's
and
not,
that's kind of one of those things that I think is part of that. But also too, that's sort of really the only bigger fight scene that we've gotten so far, which I guess people are having a problem with, but I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but that first season of Daredevil, yeah, there was fighting in it, but that was also a slow burn building up story.
That's what I loved about that.
Yeah.
Like the fights that happen, like when he's fighting the Russians and going up the ladder and fighting, the Hand. It was fucking brilliant, dude. But I like Charlie Cox is still Daredevil. He hasn't lost his touch. Fuck. Damn it. Vincent D'Onofrio. God. Fuck.
I thought you were about to cry or something.
No, I was just like, oh my god, don't let me have a brain fart on Vincent D'Onofrio playing Kingpin now.
Yeah, but he's still great.
He's still good. Vanessa's back. And I'm enjoying all like the court stuff, anything to do with I hate courtroom dramas. I don't give a fuck, Law and Order and all that stuff. I do not care. But when I'm watching Charlie Cox's Matthew Murdoch be a lawyer, interact with his clients, court cases, I'm like, I'm into it. because it's Matt Murdock. So that's probably why. If there's anything else, like I don't give a shit about this, but I enjoyed all that stuff in the Netflix series too. At least the first two seasons, at least.
Yeah.
Um, White Tiger showing up. Of course, we're jumping all over the place here.
Well, let's talk about the big thing in episode 1. So we get Karen and Foggy are here, but not for very long at all,
Yeah.
because good old Bullseye lands a shot on Foggy. That do you think he's dead? I don't think he's
No.
dead.
No.
He's not dead.
No.
Yeah. So it's implied that he's dead because the way that it happens is they have someone in protective custody, and that person in particular makes a phone call to Foggy, which makes Matt suit up and go after him, but it was just a diversion for Bullseye to take
to
a
lure
shot
Foggy out publicly
and shoot him in the chest.
Yeah.
And Matt hears this. He's running back. He's sensing the heartbeat, and the heartbeat starts to fade, and it goes away. So it's implied that Foggy is gone, but I don't think he's dead.
Yeah, no, he's not dead.
I didn't buy that for a second. I'm like, it'll probably be the last episode of the season. Something to work turn around in some way. If you've read a shitload of Daredevil books, you probably could pinpoint and piece together things like, oh, this is probably how they're going to do it or whatever. But I
kind of wish they hadn't named it Born Again, because they're not doing anything.
Yeah,
anything at all close to that storyline. I feel like they could have called it something else, and it would still be serve the purpose of
what
you're doing.
I guess the nameplay working in the Netflix series died, and here it is. I get it. I understand why they went with the name.
But my assumption was, like, when they're calling it that, okay, they're bringing it back. They're going to do some sort of version of that beloved storyline, and that's not what we're getting at all. But
well, and you also got to think too that we had an original group of showrunners and writers that had one vision. They completely scrapped all of that and have turned it into what we have now. So I'm kind of curious what that other one must have been, but it was probably dog shit. It was probably more Disney, like
probably more along with She-Hulk.
Yeah,
we're just really bad attempts at comedy, and just like, oh my god, you guys, like, stop it, just stop trying to be funny.
But so Bullseye, he lands the shot on Foggy. Daredevil just fucking pissed, and him and Bullseye have this fight, which was great. I enjoyed it, but like you said, it didn't feel as vicious as Netflix.
No.
But I love the fact they get to the rooftop, he's got him, and he drops him, lets him fall.
Which I feel like that's just reminiscent of the death of Elektra, where they're not as high up,
right?
But it's as they are right now. But still, it's like, Daredevil would do that. Like, it's just when that line's just been crossed, like, he's not trying to kill him, but like, I'll just drop him. And I kind of feel like the intent probably was to kill him,
But Bullseye's not dead because he takes a gas barrier. But anyway, he's going to go to jail.
Yeah,
he ends up getting life in prison. But
we'll see him again at some point. I'm more than certain of that.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes into episode 2. Karen Page shows back up for his trial to make sure that he's going away. She has a conversation with Matt, and now she's out of the picture. So I don't know if she's gone for good or if she'll come back at some point.
She probably will. I feel like they're really kind of pushing this kind of new cast, like Matt's other Laura, which I like her. Like the current new cast, like I like them. I don't like. I love his new love interest because she's fucking hot. The private detective that they set up in the first episode, who's retired and just works for Matt. I like his character as well. So it's a nice kind of group of new characters, along with a few other new faces here and there that just kind of, it's still like, focuses like the core cast as well. It's not overwhelming with like a shit ton of like new characters, and you're just supposed to like them because, well, here they are, kind of thing. So,
and Kingpin, has worked his way up, and he becomes mayor-elect of New
Yeah.
York. And of course, much like you would see in Netflix, under the guise of good intention to the mass public, oh, look at this, I'm getting this shit done. But we're gradually starting to see the underlayer of nothing's changed on
Yeah.
his end.
Yeah.
He's
Which I'm like, just waiting for it. Like
yeah,
episode 3, definitely, or 4, excuse me. Even before you get to the end of that episode, like you already get hints of like, okay, yeah, we know he's, not staying clean. But
yeah.
I love that, when we get to that part. But introduction of White Tiger being a vigilante that accidentally was involved with the death of a police officer, and Matt is hired to be his lawyer, and uh pretty much bringing, like, vigilante justice to the forefront. Like, here it is, it's in the court. It's not
which
like the
which
Punisher.
which he was not trying to do
No.
initially. And he even has a conversation is brought up between the prosecutor and the judge, where they know, and it's like, all right, well, we can't do this. And he's like, you got my word. And then Matt is like, you know what, fuck you. Yeah,
Yeah.
are you are you
Are you
White
White
Tiger?
Tiger?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like pretty much like, okay, yeah, he's White Tiger, but he would not deliberately try and kill anyone.
And while this is happening, the cops were beating up on an informant in the subway, which is how this happened. White Tiger
Yeah.
in civilian form comes up. He just sees two guys beating up on somebody. He's like, hey, knock it off. And they antagonize. He pushes one away. He falls back. Subway hits him. So that informant that was getting beat up on, protective custody again. And then these cops are basically, they're going to go and take him out. And I love that scene. I think it's the end of episode 2 where Matt knows what they're doing. He goes and shows up, like, hey, you need to get out of here. The cops show up. Matt has this conversation with them, then beats the
Yeah.
shit out of them. I love that. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
he just like yells after he knocks him unconscious, because the
because
whole
he's
thing
been
here.
so restrained for so fucking long. Like, this is his
Yeah.
first time of, like, getting physical for the first time since the events of Bullseye.
Yeah. And then in episode 3, they have the trial continues. The people find White Tiger not guilty because they go through all the stories of he helped me here and he helped me and da 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 da. Ends up being not guilty, and then we cut to him, and I saw it coming. You see White Tiger putting on the costume, going to go out for a night of making, policing. Boom, right in the side of the head. And I'm like, yeah, I saw it. Sucks, but I saw it coming. But maybe that was a rewrite, because the actor playing White Tiger passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, or those plans were already in motion. I'm sure it's probably somewhere on the internet. I didn't read about it. But let's talk about episode 4, because you and I haven't had an opportunity to talk about that yet.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Didn't blow me away or anything like that. It had some good moments in it. The Punisher returns in this episode, or Frank Castle, I should say.
Yeah.
Where it's and when Matt goes to, because the bullet that killed White Tiger, Matt goes to the crime scene and just starts, kind of listening and trying to figure out, where this bullet could have gone, because there was no shell recovered. And he finds it and finds that the Punisher's insignia was on the bullet.
Which we should backtrack, and when they have the scene where White Tiger gets shot, when the person walks into the camera, you see Punisher's logo on the chest.
Yeah, because there's a selection of the police force in New York that idolize the Punisher. And that's actually something that was in the comics a while back as well, like in the later comics. But
and it needs to be, and that's something I appreciate that's getting discussed, because I think I mentioned this before, but there's a bunch of stupid fucking rednecks around here that just have the Punisher logo on the back of their truck, and I'm like, you have no idea what that character represents. You just you think you do, but you don't.
He's cool and he shoots people. Like
yeah,
because you guys are the NRA.
Yes, and so it's like Punisher logo with like the the Blue Lives Matter flag inside of it or whatever the fuck. And I'm just like, it makes me sick and I fucking hate
Yeah.
it. So I'm glad that they're touching on that kind of shit in this show because
And I
it's
love that when
relevant.
Matt brings it to him and Frank looks at his fucking fanboys.
Yeah.
Like he's aware that these assholes are out there celebrating or trying to pose as something that what they think he would be.
Yeah.
And it's like he's aware of it. Like when you see it, like he's in his warehouse with a gun. It's like he is. I don't know. I never watched season 2 of Punisher because the first one fucking sucked.
Mhm.
So I don't know if in their mind, like he has already come back to the forefront. He is out there as the Punisher, or this is just where he's living right now, and this is all he's focused on. Because I'm like, I don't. I hated how the first season of Punisher pretty much just wrapped up. Well, the Punisher is done punishing in the first episode, in the first 5 minutes. Like we got to get him back to helping out families and silly stupid shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, fucking
So
terrible.
I didn't watch. So when it comes to that stuff, I didn't watch season 3 of Daredevil. I didn't watch any of Punisher. I didn't watch the Defenders.
The
I
Defenders suck too.
I didn't watch Iron Fist, or maybe I watched like an episode or two of Iron Fist, and none of it. I was like, I
Well,
didn't.
again,
I don't
if
know
you're gonna have
why. I just there was nothing pulling me to it like in the way that Netflix Daredevil did for
Daredevil
two
was just
seasons.
like they didn't pull any punches. Whereas, you know, look, I know people don't want Power Man slash Luke Cage to wear an outfit and just have him wearing street clothes. Like, I don't like that. If you're going to be a superhero, you need a definitive costume. It can be modified over the years, but fuck, you have got to have a costume. Street
Yeah,
clothes is just very boring. It's just lame. That's why I love the '70s look of Luke Cage.
I do
I do
too.
not care for the modern day look. It
That's
just
why if
it's
you're gonna do it, put it in the 70s.
yes. Don't
That
Jessica
way
Jones.
that way there's no there's an easy way to justify it to where you don't feel like you need to modernize it or anything.
Yeah,
Uh,
or I mean, I just feel like I don't like it. But Iron Fist is another one. Like, well, we're not going to give him a costume. He's going to be wearing just clothes. Like,
yeah,
why people just choose to just we're not putting our villains and heroes in their outfits that they're known for in the comic books. Well, but just because, well, I think that's kind of gay. You know,
I did watch quite a bit of Jessica Jones, and I thought that was all right for what it
I
was.
had no interest in watching that. I was just like,
Yeah,
I'm not interested.
there might be some point in time where I go
And a lot
back
of
and
people like that show. They a lot of people. I think
Jessica. I remember Jessica Jones being pretty decent, but David Tennant's in it playing the villain, and
yeah.
he did
Was
a
he
good
is
job.
he Purple Man? Is he play Purple Man in
I
that?
think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That reminds me, I can't remember if I told you there's a Marvel annual team up or Marvel team up annual, and it's the Purple Man and Kingpin, and Spider Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Moon Knight
Ooh,
all team up in this issue. Like it's
okay.
not, it's just a fun like story that gets all them involved at the end of it. But it's a fun annual, like it's a great concept
Yeah.
behind that. All these street level superheroes are they all come to the same place. When Purple Man's there and he is pretty much begrudgingly having to team up with the Kingpin, and it's just a fun. Let's see if I can't look at it, find it real quick, and I'll send it to you.
Well, you send me that. Let's talk a little bit more about episode 4. I really like the scene between Frank and Matt a lot.
I liked it up until I'm like, are they both going to start crying? Like I just felt like
I don't I just think that it pushed him to
Matt being emotional made sense. Like the Punisher, I feel like is past the point of emotions. Like the man sees nothing else other than
sure, but it didn't last long for
it
him.
did. But I guess it's what I'm trying to say is I was worried that this where they were going to go that route where they're going to hug.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, Disney, don't do this. And like, okay, and
But dude,
it was.
no, I loved it where Frank antagonized him enough where like
Oh yeah, no,
Matt punched him, grabbed him by the throat, and then Matt pulls back. He's like, "God damn you!
yeah,
Why'd you make me do that?" And I love Frank was like, "Say his name." And
yeah,
then the whole
I
point where
agree.
they're talking about Bullseye, Matt's like, "He got life," and he's like, "Oh yeah, what about Foggy, huh? Foggy got life." So I loved that discourse between the two, and also tying to the fact that Matt's love interest currently
Oh,
is a therapist, and unbeknownst to him, she is the therapist for Vanessa and Kingpin.
Yeah. Which is, I'm waiting for that to spill over where Matt finds
Yeah,
out that his current love interest is counseling his greatest enemy, and they address in this episode because they start going to counseling. I think it's in episode 2, I
yeah,
think.
I think so.
And they kind of dig a little deeper in their session this episode where they bring up that I guess after the events of season 3 of Daredevil, Kingpin leaves the city. Wilson goes, doesn't say where he's going, he just disappears and leaves Vanessa pretty much hanging.
Yeah,
They're not divorced, he just gets and leaves. Probably out of humiliation. He's like, I gotta get out of the city. Daredevil just kicked my ass. Bullseye's been stopped. I'm fucked. So Vanessa has an affair. And they bring that up in this, and that's the first time we hear about this,
yeah.
is that she had an affair with a sculptor
Named
named Adam,
Adam.
and that Wilson finds out about it, and you think, oh fuck. Like before they even dig into any more, like he's like, yeah, I talked to him like the fuck you did.
Yeah. Well, just the way that he phrases it, and actually, isn't it the way that it's is asked of him too? If he took force, or if he's like, no,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was just a
I just talked to him.
conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because because Vanessa even looks at him like,
yeah,
oh yeah, yeah, you talked to him, all right. And is the Matt's girlfriend, the therapist, okay, we've I think we're done right now, but I want to stay in. I want Vanessa to stay over and let me talk to you for a moment and ask her, do you feel safe in your marriage? She goes, I do. Like I know Wilson, like, no, there's a lot of things he would do, but that's not one of them.
yeah,
And that is a trademark. The Kingpin would never lay a finger on Vanessa.
yeah.
So
Vanessa is the one thing that
yeah.
he holds in
Yeah.
probably even more so than power.
Oh, definitely. Like
Yeah,
there's an issue I would love for us to cover of Daredevil, which I know you've read it, where she goes missing and she's captured by a lot of underground tunnel dwellers.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and where Kingpin is just like he's still going through with his plan, but he can't find his wife. He assumes she's dead.
yeah.
Daredevil finds her, and he makes an appearance by just throwing the ring on Kingpin's desk, and he catches it. He goes, "Where is she?" He's like, "Oh, I got her." He's like, "What do you want?" And Daredevil tells him what he wants, and Kingpin does it immediately, like no hesitation. Yeah, it's like I'm getting chills on my face because because Daredevil's against the wall, like so confidently, like you're gonna change your political ambitions right now. Like he's not running. He's puppeteering a mayor candidate that
Yeah.
wins, and Kingpin is pretty much forced to make him resign the next day after he wins because Daredevil found Vanessa and turned her back over.
This show has made me want to go back because I think I did this either last year or the year prior. Read the Frank Miller stuff.
Oh yeah,
Read the Brubaker stuff because I love Brubaker's Daredevil stuff too. Yeah, there's so much good shit in there. Here's
yeah,
the cover Tyler was
yeah.
alluding to earlier.
Yeah,
I love
came
that.
across that a while back, and I'm like, This is just a fun, like a collection of the street level heroes. Like that
Mhm.
never gets tiresome. Like it's just like all thing be missing there would be throwing in Ghost Rider,
Yeah,
or Shang Chi, you
yeah.
know.
But when you think, because I wasn't clicking pause or anything to see if the how far it was in the episode, so I kind of loved the little ending bit where Wilson goes down into like a cellar and he's eating his dinner, and you just hear, please, like the begging, and it's Adam.
It's Adam. Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
held captive
he's
for
got
God
long
knows how
hair
long.
and a
Yeah,
long beard, just
and it
disheveled.
looks like his hands have been, damaged a bit. Like they're not. They just look like there's something's been done to them. And
Yeah,
um, while Wilson is just, which leads you to believe that this is something he probably does maybe once a week, or how
yep.
maybe every other day or every day he
Who
steps away
knows?
to have a meal and listens to this man beg for mercy to please let him go,
Yeah,
knowing full well Kingpin will kill him at some point.
probably more than
But
likely.
yeah, but I think knowing that he is mayor right now, he's doing everything he can that it's not completely
Mhm.
illegal, and just, you know, trying to keep his hands clean as best he can without it being,
Yeah.
even though he made a career of keeping his hands clean. I feel like right now he's trying to be as uh, cautious as he can while still doing what he does best.
So
Something that I was like, I don't know if you caught it, after Wilson has to go and listen to the local middle school kids sing really badly. Like, oh my, it just makes you think of like when I had to be. I'm sure you had to do the
uh,
same thing. Like being a part of like school programs so they make you sing shitty songs. You're like,
yeah.
oh my god, this is probably what our parents had to sit through.
Yeah, so they're singing "We Built This City."
Yeah, which is fuck, and just the look on Wilson's face is like, oh my god,
But the
this is.
best part about that, so the kids are singing, and then he goes to the fucking, what is it? The like Dutch thing or whatever.
Oh, no, that's why I wanted to tell you. Did you not catch what that was?
No.
That was the Latvian embassy.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Interesting.
you get the connection there.
No. You like how I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, Doctor Doom, man.
Oh,
That's where
okay.
that's his
So,
embassy, which is in the
so
comics. The Latvian embassy is in New York City. So,
okay.
which I'm like, okay, is Robert Downey going to show up and say, "Hey, I'm Tony
No,
Stark,
I I
King of
think I
Latveria"?
don't think, even though this is canon now and connected to the MCU, I really don't see them going that far with it.
God, I hope not. I hope this is Victor Von Doom. But even then, where they got the Fantastic Four in the '60s, they're gonna have him time travel so they can make him part of the modern day, so they can have fucking Secret Wars. Like,
Mm.
we don't have to
Don't
do
don't
the
do it
whole
in the
time.
Daredevil show. Don't do any of that.
No, no. I
Just
mean,
doing that, but it was funny that he went from the kids singing to
yeah, to
the
the
adults.
Latvian embassy, like people there are singing, and
We
I'm
built
like,
this
well,
city,
they're very reminiscent. Yeah, they're singing "We
and
Built This City," and
he's
he's
just
just
sitting there
like,
like, oh god, not again.
yeah. But
So
they look
I
very.
like that. That's
No,
probably what drove him. Is like, you know what? I'm gonna go visit
yeah,
Adam
I need
today.
to go decompress. I need to go listen to a man scream for his life for a little bit while I'm having this what looked to be a very good pasta dinner.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like penne and God knows what else, but you know. And
So
then
the
while that's going on, Matt is feeling the need to get the Billy Club out and
mhm.
do some
I
kind
love
of
it.
retooling his skills on the
I
rooftop
love
bottle
it.
Kingpin. Yeah.
We're building to it. We're building to it, and
And seeing the
that's
Billy Club with the cable attachment where he can swing around and do what he does in the comic, which that was kind of jarring at first because he does that in the first episode. Like, and I was so used to him not doing that, just using the Billy
yeah.
Club to throw and ricochet, and he just jumps on rooftops and stuff
I
like that.
think that they. I guess the implication there is that between the Netflix show and this one is like 5 to 7 years or something.
Yeah, so there would be some advancements in his equipment.
But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to next
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I'm gonna sit down and watch every episode. Like, it's nice to have something to look forward to each week for a time, and hopefully it doesn't
Shit the bed at the end of it.
yeah. um but so far it's off to a decent start. Charlie Cox and Vincent haven't lost a step.
No.
Women are hot in it, and it's a shame White Tiger was taken out, even though someone is dressing up as White Tiger in the subway. um Kind of makes you wonder, like, what's, is this a copycat or what? I think Oscar Isaac showed up in one of the trailers, who played Moon Knight, and I'm thinking, like, are
Mm,
we going to be seeing, Mark Spector show up? Which I think they said Moon Knight will not be in this series, but I could have swore I thought
mm.
I saw Oscar Isaac show up in like a cameo, like he's talking to Matt Murdock and like in jail or something like that. I didn't finish watching Moon Knight because didn't give a fuck, but.
Yeah, I think I got maybe 3 episodes into that, and I was like, I can't. This just isn't. It's not like Ethan Hawke just sucks. It's like I can't do this.
Yeah, I don't. Even though the costume looked really good,
It did.
because but that was like, I hated what they were doing. I just,
I
I did.
I think if they took the approach to Moon Knight, like how they're doing with this, which is another thing that I'm glad it's just not. There's not really any humor in this
No,
at all,
no.
and you don't need it. And I think if they would have taken that approach with some of these other Disney shows, then they would have fared a little bit better.
I couldn't agree more. That and not being afraid to have your villains look like the villains, the heroes look like the heroes.
Yeah,
Um, because and something too, like because I never knew when it happened, because when I started reading Moon Knight, I started at the beginning, and then you learn like down the road he has multiple personality disorder. Like, okay, what does that happen? Because the show starts out like he clearly has a personality disorder. I'm like, okay, all right, stop. Like, I know I
yeah.
haven't read all the Moon Knight comics, but still, like, why are we doing this? And you learn, in the comics, because it starts out he has three alternate identities that he goes by to help with his crime fighting. He's a cabbie, he's a millionaire, he's Mark Spector, who he really is, and he's Moon Knight. So we got four people he portrays,
Mhm.
or portrays, excuse me. That leads to a multiple personality disorder. Maybe that show, I don't know, maybe they did do that and it's just too comedic, or maybe they didn't do it. They just like, hey, we'll make him have multiple personality disorder. It'd be kooky and quirky and funny, and
Yeah.
he'll look around and be, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like,
Yeah, I think that was the other thing too, was just the way that how some of it was shot in that
it's
show.
jarring,
Yeah,
very jarring.
yeah, it was just too much.
Yeah, so I'm like, and that's something too. I was going to suggest for another episode, is like to discuss maybe some of the 1989 Moon Knight,
Okay.
um, where like Chuck Dixon, who worked on Batman, created Bane. He has a run on, like, when they brought Moon Knight back in '89. There's, it's a pretty decent start and pretty good artwork. So I was like, yeah, it might be kind of a fun thing to throw out at Nathan sometime too, to
Yeah,
discuss a little bit of Moon Knight there.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
before like I don't know when that, maybe that was like in the '90s or the
Newer stuff.
2000s.
Yeah,
I
somewhere.
don't know. I love the concept that this guy is like Batman, but he has, kind of like matches Malone, was like an identity that Bruce Wayne would don to get information in
Yeah,
the crime underworld. The cabbie, and the millionaire getting, just, I feel like this guy has got so many means that he goes and pretends to be other people so we can get inside information on the criminal underworld.
yeah.
Like, I love that idea. And now to like say, oh, now he's got, he's schizophrenic, and like, it's just like, I don't like that, but
We'll go ahead and we'll cap the Daredevil spoilers. Almost didn't get
okay.
that those words out of my mouth, so we'll take that away. So sorry that went a little longer than than planned, but
Well,
hey, it was
it was if me and Nathan were just sitting at home talking, which is
that
kind of what
was
we're doing right
that
now.
was
But
4 episodes worth of discussion. So
yeah, so,
really,
and
so
we
there's a little
I'm
bit
sure
to
there's
it.
other stuff we didn't touch on, but overall, it's off to a decent start.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it,
yeah,
which is
same.
nice to say for something for a change.
Absolutely. I'd be
Yeah,
like, man, this is the first MCU thing, Marvel product I've enjoyed in quite some time. So
yeah. I think probably Spider-Man No Way Home, and that's only because Andrew Garfield was in it. That's it. That movie's just nothing but a big cameo fest, and all the villains
yeah,
were
yeah,
good guys.
I think that's one of those movies though that's a one and done. Like I enjoyed it the
Yeah,
first. I have
yeah.
no, I
I
have
did
words to go
watch.
back and watch.
I've watched Garfield's interaction with them on YouTube, but that's like once or twice. I've had
Yeah,
no desire to see anything else in that movie, because I didn't find it entertaining. I didn't enjoy the rest.
mm,
It wasn't a bad movie, but I'm like, well, for
yeah,
what it was, I don't need to see it again. So
yeah, yeah. I get the itch sometimes to just go back and revisit some of the films. Like before that came out, let me watch. uh Fuck, Homecoming, and then
ugh,
Far From Home, because
yeah,
I hadn't seen Far From Home at that point yet. So I'm like, let me sit and watch that. I'm like, yeah, it was fine, but that, that's what I hated about it. I would walk away from them just being like, it was okay.
and
That's
that
it.
sucks
Yeah,
in
I
this
know. I was
day and
like, yeah,
age.
they made another one, I guess. So yeah,
Uh,
the fatigue really started to set in then. So it's just nice now to have something that I actually look forward to watching.
yeah,
But I guess it also helps that it's not a movie and it's a TV
yeah.
show, and so you can really flesh out everything. But is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we? get out of here?
Um, no, I'm pretty satisfied with everything we covered from Submariner to Daredevil, and
Okay.
unless we get onto some other random topic before we wrap it up.
Man, I was trying to think if anything was popping up. I know we when the spinner rack, we need to probably do some more DC stuff. We
Yeah,
do
but
lean a little Marvel heavy.
I'm just such that's where my
I
bread and
get
butter
it. I
is.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
my preference overall is Marvel over DC, but there is some DC stuff I feel
Yeah,
we
and I do
we
have some
should
DC
touch on
books.
this.
I've sent to Nathan that we need to cover this. So like Green Arrow, there's some
Yeah,
Batman, there's some. I didn't feel. Man, I just get so fixated on Marvel. Like I want to talk about this character now. I want to talk about that character now, and I like I said, I was going back to reading Moon Knight. Like I'd like to cover Moon Knight with Nathan sometime, and or maybe cover an issue of Civil War, like cover the first issue of Civil War at some
mm,
point, or um, I mean, there's just always a multitude of stuff that just runs through my head. Oh, we got to cover that one. Oh, we got to cover that one too. And I'm just like, we don't have enough time to cover all these,
yeah.
So,
Well, but it's good that we those
well,
ideas
and
are
I
there and
wanted
we
to do
can.
watch-alongs. Like I wanted to do the Wrath of the Submariner from the '81 Spider-Man series with you, which has Kingpin, Hammerhead, Silvermane, Man Mountain Marco, like all in the same,
Man,
and
Mountain
Hank Rita.
Rock.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Mountain Rock. He's an obscure Spider-Man character. Um, but that one, and it'd be fun to cover other. Since I have Disney Plus now, we can cover other Marvel animated shows relatively
Yeah, for
easy. Not have to
now
watch.
until you're like, I want to get rid of it again.
Well, yeah, because that will happen.
I
But
can't.
I guess it's nice to be able to stream, Daredevil season one anytime I want, even though I got a hard copy. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm at work and I'm just like, you know what, it'd be really nice if I could just watch Daredevil season one while I'm having lunch right now, and I just put on one episode and watch 10 minutes of it before I go back to work or something
Can't
like that.
believe this guy shows up in that Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Holy shit. All right. Well, I guess we will go ahead and get out of everyone's hair here. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on the character Submariner / Namor, whatever you want to call him, or Daredevil. If you've watched it up to this point, give us your thoughts on that. And like this video if you haven't done so already, and subscribe. Subscribe to the Dump In. And Tyler, I guess until next time, I'll see you next issue.
You let Diego fuck you in the ass? Yeah.
No, don't say the rest of it. That is
No.
from the movie Blow.
Yeah.
With Johnny
I'm
Depp.
impressed.
Yeah, you're impressed that I got that one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, I am too.
Yeah.
Since I have the whole Doctor Doom shit going over my head.
Yeah.
It's been a
Well, no,
long
I
week.
just feel like, man, we haven't mentioned that movie in God knows how long, but we
Yeah.
used to make reference to that movie a lot back in the day.
Have you watched it
Oh,
recently?
No, it's been over a decade since I watched that movie.
I
Probably
wonder
longer
if it's
than that.
still. I wonder if it still holds up.
Yeah, I mean, I still got it. I haven't didn't disregard it because I thought it was a wonderful movie, but it's
Yeah.
been well over a decade since I've watched it.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that scene where he's walking in the airport and Black Betty's playing.
Black Betty's playing. Yeah, that was the scene that made me a fan of that song. Was that sequence where he's walking to the airport. Life is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind checking it out. It was a hell of a. I remember renting that, and that was when the first full trailer of Lord of the Rings was attached to it, and getting to see that, like, oh yeah, that was a real treat at the time.
It's man, looking back on that era now, it's almost like you can't help but look back on it fondly, just because I don't want to get on that horse again, but just how movies were at that time, even though looking at it during that time, we were like, oh man, is this are we slash boy ever? Did we know if we would have known?
I mean, but I think for a time that we were still like, I mean, because we talked. I mean, that was like 2002 when Fellowship came out.
Yeah,
we were still.
Fellowship was 2001. Two Towers was 2002. Return
That's
was
right.
2003.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was 11th grade because then we were our senior year. That's when Two Towers came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw that 5 times in theaters. I just thought it was so fucking great, and I fucking hated Return of the King. Hated it. Haven't seen it since.
Really? Damn.
No, I've had no desire to.
It's kind of understandable. I watched Fellowship a while back, and it got me in the mood. I was like, man, I should just sit and just watch the rest of them because
I
they
I
did.
I remember that time though, because we were had just become really good buddies, and having Lord of the Rings to look forward to for 3 straight Christmases
Hmm.
was a lot of fun. Getting the figures from Toy Biz and playing the Two Towers video game on PlayStation
Yeah,
2, and
which kicked a lot of ass.
oh, I get fucking rock, dude.
Yeah.
And getting the glasses from Burger King,
Yep.
with the light up switch on the bottom, like that was just a fun time to have that to
That
look
that
forward
was like
to.
kind of the last of the movie
The big
tie-in
yeah,
glasses.
with fast food, it's you think
Maybe
with all the
maybe the Abrams first Star Trek movie did the same glasses wise somewhere. I
what did
believe.
they tie what restaurant tied in with that Star Trek movie?
I
Was
think it
it
was I think it was Burger King, right?
I remember there was a fast food tie-in, but I can't remember. Wait, I can't remember what the tie-in was though. Was it glasses?
Pretty sure. Thought it was. Yeah, Star Trek 2008 collectible glass by Burger King. Yeah, they had 4 of them.
The Spock and Kirk and I'm gonna say
Uh,
Uhura was probably one of them.
yeah.
Bones.
Nope. Here you go. Here's a photo. Boom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get any of those. I wasn't going to fast food restaurants at that time. I was trying to be healthy. So
Yeah. Tyler was already just
taking
his.
the blueberry steroids, as Nathan called
Yeah.
it.
He was just the turkey burger journey had already begun.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't going. Um, Fast food times just got more and more sparse, man. Whereas,
They did.
fortunately, we grew up at a time where that was a big deal, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just not just from cartoon tie-ins, but movie tie-ins from all the Batman movies to Last Action Hero. Trying to think of all the other like movie tie-ins that were getting like products at McDonald's and Burger King.
Battlefield Earth. Didn't that get
Oh
something?
God, yeah, I think they did have something. Was there's Taco Bell or was it McDonald's? God, I remember going to see like the 9 o'clock showing that piece of shit movie.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't
God,
like all the slanted angle shots?
God, I had no memory of that until like someone brought it up in a YouTube video. I'm like, I had no memory of all these like slanted shots in the movie. I just thought it was fucking lousy. I know my Derek liked it. Like he even bought some of the action figures from it.
I guess maybe there wasn't a fast food
Okay.
tie-in with Battlefield Earth.
Godzilla had one with Taco Bell. I do remember that.
Yeah.
And
That's when we first got the fucking Chihuahua, right?
oh, I
The
was so fucking
Yokiro Taco Bell.
yeah. Oh, I hated that campaign. It was all over the damn place.
That man saying that Battlefield Earth had cups. Hmm, maybe they did.
Yeah.
I seem to remember something, but I looked up fast food tie-in and didn't think anything.
I guess
Where's
for
it?
us though, the biggest ones would have been the Batman tie-ins
Yeah,
with you know,
yeah,
which I didn't know Taco Bell because I don't remember if we had one when the first one came out.
yeah.
And me,
Taco Bell did Batman '89.
yeah, well they did, but at the time I don't had no commercials. I had seen
No,
nothing of that. Not until Batman Returns comes out
yeah. Then we get
and the McDonald's
McDonald's.
tie-in with the cups and the toys that came out, which that was I only had one toy and one cup.
Got them
Yeah, I
all.
wonder who got all of them. Yeah,
There's a guy right here.
God. And
Hell
then
yeah.
now when Batman Forever came, I did have 3 of the glasses. Like I was on a mission, and I
I
think
didn't.
Batman was the only one I didn't get.
I didn't get any of the stuff from Batman Forever.
Really?
Yeah. No, I went and saw it in theaters and stuff, and I bought Kiss's album just for Kiss from a Rose, but
Oh yeah.
I didn't even have the
Yeah.
Batman Forever soundtrack. I just got the Kiss album that had the song on it.
Oh, you mean like the single or
No,
the Seal album? They just
yeah,
had Kiss from
I
a Rose.
bought his album that had
Oh,
Kiss
see,
from a Rose on it.
I asked my mom if she would go to Kmart and buy me the soundtrack, and I gave her the money for it. And she came home with an audiobook. And I'm like,
Ah,
like, Mom, this is a book on tape. And she had no idea. So she did make it right and get me the soundtrack because I had to have Kiss from a Rose. I was addicted to that fucking song, dude. I was just,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
I
just,
was too. I
yeah.
have told the story before, but that's like I dated Ashley King for like 2 weeks that summer,
And that song was the,
and then she like dumped me, and I'm just sitting there listening to it on the swing on the front porch, just like crying.
so yeah, I had a, well, I remember I fell in love with a girl from Canada that was going to Bible school during that time, and that was on the radio. So I associated that song with this girl from Canada that I had a real big crush on.
Yeah, man.
And it just, and that, I think it was the same summer too that I really got into Beavis and Butthead
Yeah,
because I was staying up late and watching that, and then watching MTV to watch the Kiss from a Rose music video. And um, God, it was, and Kmart was selling the posters, like character posters, like the theatrical size ones, but they were, smaller, of course. And getting
yeah.
uh our dad bought me and my brother each a Chase Meridian poster because we all thought Nicole Kidman was so fucking hot in that movie. So we each got a poster of her to hang up in our room, and I got Jim Carrey's Riddler, and Derek got Two Face.
Uh,
So yeah, we were I bought the official movie magazine from Batman Forever, the trading cards. I was getting those,
it's
man.
a
Like,
shame that movie's not that good.
it's not. I still would like to own it in 4K because I'm sure it would look really good in 4K. But it's
Yeah,
just it's, oh god, it has like,
honestly, it's all Tommy Lee Jones's fault.
pretty much,
Yeah,
it's just he's so fucking bad in it, man.
yeah,
And to think that Joel's like, I love it and
yeah,
more,
yeah.
it's like, why did you need
To
two
think,
villains to be
man,
the same?
the summer '95, we're both attaching that song to
Yeah,
girls that we're in love with at the time.
yeah.
Those
That
were the days.
that was a it was a fun summer, even though at the time I'm like, Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber, like, clutch you my heart, you know,
Goodbye, my
over,
love.
yeah, for a girl I barely knew, she's just really hot,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, watching MTV quite a bit at the time because of Beavis and Butthead and Singled Out, and
yeah,
watching for that video. And
yeah. Singled out was a go-to for me as well.
staying up and watching Singled Out and then Beavis and Butthead was like, that was, I felt like such an adult at that time and during that summer, like going into sixth grade. I graduated fifth grade. I'm becoming a man now. I gotta
There's
start
got
watching adult stuff.
there's got to be, and that got me intrigued.
Because Eon Flux and the Max were on as well, which I had no interest in watching those. I was Beavis and Butthead all the way, dude.
Oh, dude, there are full episodes of Singled Out on YouTube.
Is it really?
Yeah, we should do like
A watch along a
a
single
watch
out. Just
along of a Singled Out episode.
I'd be game for that.
We also got to
Just,
do wrestling. Yes, we
oh
have to
my
do a
god,
wrestling thing.
yes, we
Take
have.
one of those wrestling tapes and check that out. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, which I'm like, man, I can't wait to get Nathan on a wrestling commentary and just let him, stand back, start,
Yeah.
doing his.
And, and then another thing I thought about personally doing is hopefully, and don't completely hold me to this, but occasionally maybe some video game stuff. I can definitely stream PS5 games. I won't be on camera, but you'll be able to hear me because I thought about
Like when Nathan
streaming.
like burps and blows his nose and stuff like
Well,
that.
you'll probably hear the dogs. You'll probably hear Benny just coughing because his lungs have been terrible since we've had him for the last 3 years anyway. Since we got him, his lungs were bad. But Marvel Rivals is a game I've been playing, the free-to-play game on there. It's just like the battle game. And I actually, to tie it into this, I play as Namor quite a lot, even though apparently
Yeah.
I've read that if you play competitive, a lot of people try to just ban him. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. So I don't play competitively. I just do the quick play.
Why, he's too powerful?
So it depends on, you pick certain, because it's 5-on-5 and you can pick certain characters that will team up with other characters, will have team up abilities. So he's got some things because he throws out like these squid turrets and you can place them and stuff where they'll shoot at people as you're fucking throwing the stuff. And I guess people think that he's cheap, but I'm like, Black Panther fucks him up in the game. If Spider-Man gets a hold of you, he beats him up pretty quick. Wolverine gets too close, he'll fuck you up. I mean, there's characters that take him out. Plus, the biggest thing for him is he doesn't fly in there either. He can float down if you're jumping from a higher plane to a lower, so he'll like float down, but he doesn't fly. But
Why? Can other characters that fly in the game?
oh yeah, like Iron Man does.
That's bullshit.
Human Torch is in there. But the cool thing about Namor though is where he's like throwing the shit. You can do massive damage to Iron Man and Human Torch. So that's what I do. I hang back. I see an Iron Man or Human Torch. I'm taking out those guys. I'm staying from a distance as much as I can. But I might try to stream that and play it. So if no one's familiar with the game, they can kind of see what goes on. And I'll have to refrain myself a little bit.
No.
I do no, because if I did, it would just be a lot of shit. Fuck, a lot of that.
That's the funny part about watching the game.
Yeah,
is how vocal and verbal Nathan can get when he.
But
I guess I come over to your house and we can play SmackDown, and you get really pissed off me using Jeff Hardy's, roll up.
That's actually the thing too. Is if I can stream from the PS5, like you could come over, we could play Battlefront.
Oh my god, that'd be a blast, dude.
We could play Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I also have the Turtles Konami Classics collection on there, so we can play Turtles in Time, but we can also play the arcade game, like actual arcade and Turtles in Time arcade. We can play the NES games. We got all that stuff. So yeah, I was thinking about streaming some video game stuff, but I could also stream video games here as well. Maybe do some retro video game streams again. That just something to add. Don't expect it all the time, but I'll dabble in that a little bit going forward. But yeah, just some stuff to think about. Plus, Tyler and I got plenty of movies that we'll probably be popping into.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's stuff that we covered years ago that we can go back and redo, and then there's a fuck ton of stuff that we have never done. We've talked about doing with James and other stuff that we just there's an endless supply.
We got tier lists that we can do. We have kumites that we can do. So we got a lot of stuff you guys look forward to here on the Dump Bin. So make sure that you subscribe. But with that, we'll go ahead and we said this like 20 minutes ago, but we will bid you adieu.
Hope you enjoyed our epilogue.
Yeah. Catch you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.